Hello, I'm Shivangi Mukherjee. Welcome back to my channel. If you're an old viewer, I'm glad to have you back. If you're a new viewer, I make content on self-love, mindsets and personal growth. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about 5 things no one tells you about validation seeking behavior. Number 1, there is nothing wrong with seeking external validation. As humans, we are social creatures and therefore we will be drawn to engaging with others. We are not meant to live in isolation, and as a result of engaging with others, we will be drawn to groups. We will want to conform to those group values, and we will seek validation and approval from said groups. This is absolutely natural. It is a part of being a human being, and there is no reason that one should try to eradicate this. There is nothing wrong if you reach out to friends, trusted ones, close ones, to have them as a sounding board in your life. By this I mean you reach out to them to understand if a decision that you're making is correct, if you should be doing certain things, if you should not be doing certain things, and they in turn validate your decisions, your thought processes, and give you the right kind of advice. So in that case, seeking external validation is not the wrong thing to do, and it should not be villainized. The only time that issues or problems starts arising with validation seeking behavior is when it is taken to the extreme. By that I mean if someone is not being able to operate independently without seeking validation from others, is when problems start arising and it starts impacting one's confidence, one's ability to engage. Number 2, when dealing with validation seeking behavior, it is important to understand the root of it, because without understanding where and how it is coming from, we will not be able to accurately deal with it. So validation seeking behavior could happen if, let's say, and these are examples, all right, there could be any other reason than what I'm about to state, and this will be different for different people. So maybe validation seeking for one person may come as a survival instinct. Let's picture this scenario. They were a little child growing up and they were always scared because they had angry parents. So they would reach out to their parents, gain their approval, seek their validation, and that was a survival instinct in their childhood. Now, as an adult, they might not have grown out of it and they still view the world through that lens. In that case, validation seeking might still be persistent in their life. For others, it might be a codependency issue. Let's say that they have grown into codependency habits where they feel like they always feel the need to check in with someone else. If they're doing something right, if they're not doing something right, and in that case they might have to build the habit of checking in with themselves instead of someone else, and this will be a gradual process. This is not overnight work. For some people, the reason might not be survival or codependency issues. It might be both or more. So it differs for each person, and it is each person's work to sit down with themselves and understand where validation seeking is coming from in order to deal with it better. Number 3, and a very important point, so listen carefully, okay? We have this common misconception that as humans, we might only reach out to another human for validation, but that is not true, because we as humans sometimes also reach out to inanimate objects for validation. Ever heard of retail therapy? I'm sure you have. So when we reach out to retail therapy, what we're essentially doing is we're trying to shop our way out of feelings, which is why it is called retail therapy, because there are feelings that we don't want to address, and the issue is not having enough clothes, or not having enough makeup, or not having enough gadgets, or whatever it is that you want to shop your way into. It is often the case that there are feelings that we do not want to sit with, and so we shop our way out of those feelings. So when you're trying to validate yourself through objects, ask yourself this: what are you essentially trying to hide under the covers? What are you not willing to address or sit with yet? And I'm not saying that seeking validation through objects is a bad thing. We all do it, and it is absolutely and perfectly normal to do that. So today I might look at a dress and I might feel like this dress might look good on me, so let me buy that. Today I might look at a car and I might feel like this car, this particular model might add value to my life, and let me buy this particular model. Next time people look at you in a particular attire, look at you in a car, those items start being associated with your image. And people begin to view you in association with those said objects, thereby impacting your image in their heads. So this is validation seeking in one form, but there is nothing wrong with it. Where it goes wrong is when we are not able to understand how much of it is enough for us. To understand this better, let me share an anecdote with you. An acquaintance of mine once shared that their partner had proposed to them with a ring. When the acquaintance broke the news to their friend circle, everyone started comparing, bringing out their rings and started comparing which ring was the most expensive, which ring had the larger diamond, and what kind of rings should the people who were not with somebody be aiming for when they are with somebody. Now, in this race of trying to outbuy the other, trying to have the best ring, they sort of forgot to ask themselves the question that how many carats make them feel loved enough in a relationship. And it is the same question that we should be asking ourselves when we look at items to validate ourselves. How much of it is enough to make us feel loved, valued, secure, and confident? Think about it. This is an important question, okay? Point number 4. Seek validation from the right crowd. Now, the right crowd will look very different for each person. The kind of people at my end that I reach out to for validation will look different from the kind of people that you should reach out to for validation at your end. Ideally, the right kind of people or the right crowd can be defined as people that you can look up to, or people who inspire you. For instance, teachers, supervisors, mentors who know more than you in a particular subject to be able to offer you that advice in order for you to engage in positive validation seeking behavior, where you're essentially reaching out for expert advice in this case, where seeking validation is healthy. Point number 5, and the last point for today's video, is to understand the difference between good validation seeking behavior and bad validation seeking behavior. Let me try to explain that to you with the help of 2 small examples. Consider situation 1. In situation 1, I post a video or a picture on social media, and I'm trying to understand or gauge if I look good in a particular post depending on the number of views and the likes I've gotten from a certain number of people or a certain group of people. In situation 1, I've been feeling like I'm not good enough until and unless I have those number of views or likes from a certain group of people. Now, consider situation 2. In situation 2, I have completed a work on a particular project, and I reach out to my mentor and I ask them, where do you think I could have been better? Now, if you note carefully, both situation 1 and situation 2 are situations where I am trying to gauge my performance. But do you know the difference between situation 1 and 2? The difference is my intent. In situation 1, I feel like I'm not good enough and people need to validate the fact that I'm good enough. Comes from a place of low confidence, low self-esteem, self-worth issues. In situation 2, I'm also trying to gauge my performance, but it comes from a place of I've done the work on this project and where could I be better? So there is an interest to improve and be better, and it is not coming from a place of low confidence. It is coming from a place of confidence. Situation 1 is definitely not an instance of positive validation seeking behavior attempt, but situation 2 is definitely a good example of positive validation seeking behavior attempt. I hope that difference is clear to you now. Thank you for staying with me this far, but before I leave, here's a thought for you. If you do not know your worth, I hope you find your worth. And I hope you do not have to rely on others to tell you what your worth is. With that, we come to the end of today's video. I would love to hear from you, so make sure you drop a hi for me in the comment section. I will see you in my next video. Bye bye. Take care.